Today, we're talking about something that so many of us struggle with: staying on track with your nutrition when life gets hectic. Whether you're juggling work, mom duties, social events, or weekends, I've got some tips that'll help you get through it. So it's going to be a good one. Grab your coffee and let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Weekend warriors.
Yes. Facts. Weekend warriors.
Why are our clients all weekend warriors sometimes?
I know, right? Always.
We try so hard to keep them on track for the weekend. They check in on Fridays, and then we do a Saturday morning team call. And then we officially check in with them on Mondays. I mean, we just hit it from all angles.
We try to corral them in.
Yeah, and then sometimes on Mondays, I'll be like, what happened?
Yes.
From Saturday morning,
What'd
you were
you
so
do?
gung-ho.
Yeah. All of us said, no, I overindulged. We just had this call. We just talked to you. What made you go in the other direction? That's what these calls are for, so you don't go in that other direction.
Well, that's why we're going to do this episode, to help our listeners not go in the other direction, because I think a lot of people need help. So if you're tired of feeling like you start over every Monday, this episode is for you. We're going to break the cycle and figure it out, and figure out how to make nutrition fit into your real life.
Facts.
Right?
Yes.
Real life.
Real life.
That's my goal. And that's the goal with this show. That is the goal with how we coach our clients. That is the goal with my YouTube videos. I just kind of went on a rant on my full day of eating video. Like, listen, I don't curate videos. I don't go, I'm going to eat this because I'm filming. No. I film what I'm eating.
Exactly.
So you're going to get the real thing, because real life happens. And sometimes you eat snacks and you eat packaged food and you don't get all your fiber in, and your day doesn't look like healthy, but that's
Right.
real life for everybody,
That's it.
because nobody eats
No.
the perfect meals, and they may show the perfect meals only because they don't want to hear it from all the keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Which I kind of understand to some degree, because they get annoying sometimes, to be honest.
It's funny. A lot of these fitness influencers will put their food looks perfectly laid out, like they eat that all the time. Like, stop lying. No, you don't. You don't eat like that all the time. That's not
I
real
know.
life.
I
So you mean
know.
to tell me you live alone, you're a hermit, you have no wife, no kids, you have a family, you eat like that all the time?
And you know what? I think sometimes we talk about it, and then I kind of think, well, I'm sure it's obvious to people that people don't really eat like that all the time. But the funny thing is, it's not obvious to people, because I put myself back in the headspace of years ago. I did believe it. Like when I was first training for a fitness competition, I did believe it. I remember I'd be envious of these fitness people, they were super fit. I'm like, wow, like it looks so easy for them. They just eat on point all the time. They go to the grocery store and get their sweet potatoes, and they get their rice, and they meal prep their chicken for the week, and they're so good. Like, why can't it be easy like that for me? And the truth is, it's not easy like that for them either. And
No.
they're showing that, but they're not doing that all the time.
They're not showing you behind the scenes what they're doing.
All right, you guys, let's do a little housekeeping, but we will get into that. Quick reminder to subscribe, rate, and review. And I want to thank there was a couple of people that gave us reviews over the last week. I appreciate it. So thank you so much. You can scan the QR code on the screen, and you can get all of our relevant information, all of the brands we work with, discount codes, how to access us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, things like that. Follow us on Instagram, candidly_with_coffee. We're actually just about to hit 7,000 followers on TikTok, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
Yeah, we have 1,800 followers on Instagram. We're growing. It's just organic growth, so it's pretty cool. It's just podcast content on those, so it kind of makes me happy, because it makes me think if you follow us there, you like our podcast, because that's all that's posted there.
100%.
So that's kind of cool. All right, we do have a comment, and I wanted to highlight this comment because it spearheaded this whole episode. So Melissa Price 8043 says, "Hi Janine, I would love some advice on how to not overeat on the weekends. That's when we mostly go out to eat with friends, and I have a hard time holding back. I feel like the weekends always set me back. Would love to see a podcast on this subject. Well, it's your lucky day, Melissa.
She hit it. There you go. We're about to talk about it, Melissa.
It is your lucky day. So
Yeah.
how to stay on track as specifically a busy midlife woman. It all boils down to really shifting your mindset. So shifting it
Facts.
away from all or nothing into, let's call it the always something mindset. So imperfect action beats perfection every time.
Yes, it does.
Repeat that again. Imperfect action beats perfection every time. If imperfect action beats perfection and you believe that, why is it that you feel like you have to be perfect or not at all?
The all or none principle.
Yeah, so it's like the weekend isn't a free-for-all zone. The weekend is not the nothing zone.
I know.
Okay.
Mentally, that's where people are at, though. The weekend comes and everybody just start falling apart. And that's where they do the most damage. It's not really during the week. Yeah, they do probably some, but the weekend is where they really go.
Yeah, if you
all
can
out.
master your weekends, master this process.
Yep, easy.
So that's what you need to focus on. So many people.
I like that. Master the weekends.
Yeah, because so many people, they have it figured out Monday through Friday. You know, they pretty much have it figured out.
You know why, right?
It's routines and schedule.
Yes, job schedule. So
Yeah.
if you're on routine, let's just say you got to get to work at 8. You're up at, I'm going to just throw it out there. You're up at 5, working out by 6, out of the door by 7. You got your meal already prepped, ready to go. You're at work by 8. You're off by 5. You come home, maybe relax, maybe walk a little bit, maybe more exercise. Who knows? Be with your family, eat dinner. Then you go to bed. Then you do it the same day over and over. Come weekend side, like, yes, I get to sleep in. I have no schedule. I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And that's when boredom sets in and comfort sets in and the little devil on the side sits in like, yeah, come on, Janine, it's time to eat. It's time to treat ourselves. We owe it to ourselves.
And so there's so much to it. Part of the weekend disaster could be because you're so focused during the week.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to be focused. It's easier. I'm going to say easier. So you really hammer it home and you just like stay super on point. Well, the minute you have a little bit of freedom, what happens?
That's so true.
What happens? What happens when your parents go out of town? You're good you're good when your parents are home. Parents go out of town, you call the friends up, you go get the kegs. Who could buy a keg? Who's got an older brother?
Yeah, it's a fiesta.
Right?
So true. I remember those days.
But maybe if when your parents were home, if your parents weren't as strict and you got you were allowed to have your friends over, you had a loose curfew. When your parents go out of town, it's no big deal. You're like, yeah, I can have my friends over when my parents are in town. So what's the problem? That's the kind of the parenting style I adopted.
Well, yeah.
But
you
you
didn't hammer your kids down on a curfew super strict.
No, and the point is, obviously that's not what I'm talking about, but I'm relating it because people, they're so strict with themselves during the week. And I can't do it. I got to do everything perfect.
Yes.
That then what happens? The weekend comes and it's like the parents went out of town. You kind of just, you go crazy because you've been holding on so tight that you finally have to let go completely.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from you is Monday through Friday, I'm super regiment, super perfect, but I have a few bumps along the road. A couple here, a couple there, a couple little slip-ups, minor. But then the weekend, I nail it down and have no slip-ups. So it'll kind of offset that.
Oh, it'll offset it, but it's not even about the slip-ups. I'm saying allow yourself a little more flexibility. Don't be so rigid during the week.
You told me that. And it's been working.
Yes. If you're super rigid, I want you to ask yourself, because everyone's going to fall into a different bucket here that's listening. There's going to be different people that have different issues.
Yep.
There's one group of people that are just trying really hard and they get too rigid during the week. It's usually because they are trying to pay for the sins from the previous weekend.
Yes. They're trying to make up for it.
Yes.
I know a few people who do that.
So they get super rigid and then come the next weekend, the seams burst again and you go crazy.
Yep.
So if you fall into that category, my recommendation to you is loosen up the reins a little bit. So take a look at your weekends. Are you currently like going for broke on the weekend? Like you're probably overeating by 1,000 calories each day. And that's not even going for broke. That's kind of like you're kind of holding back, but you're overindulging. That's 2,000 extra calories, right? So why not just scale back on the weekend, maybe go 500 extra calories for the weekend, or let's just even say 1,000 and spread some of the rest throughout the week, an extra couple hundred a day. You'd be surprised. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
A room for the treat that you love, room for that crumble cookie midweek, whatever means something to you, but room for you to have a little splurge during the week, because then you're not going to feel like the wheels are going to come off the bus come Saturday. You're going to feel kind of satisfied. Because if I'm craving a donut and I have a donut, one, and then I get to the weekend, I'm fine. I'm like, no, I don't need donuts. But if, like, say I restrict myself, like I'm not going to have donuts, I'm craving them, I'm feeling it, and then I finally allow myself to give in, and then I have 8 because I can't control it. And it feels like it's not going to happen for a long time. If you switch your mindset and think, I can have anything I want, anytime I want. I just can't have as much of anything I want.
That's it.
That's the mindset I want you guys to switch it to. So if someone comes in to your office with your favorite cookies, I can have those cookies. I'm not going to have 6 of those cookies, but I can have a cookie. We had a delicious garlic cheese, like kind of greasy, but delicious garlic cheese bread with our dinner last night. And my old self would have wanted like an entire basket of that. But but the new mindset is I can have the greasy garlic cheese bread. It's delicious. I can't have as much as I would like, but I can have some. So I'm going to have a piece.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
Yeah, we portioned it between you and I.
Yeah.
We know exactly how many calories it was, and it was perfect.
So that's a mindset shift. Okay. But now let's get into like a tactical strategy for the weekends. If you find that your weekends are difficult, you need to do a little bit of planning. I'm sorry, but that's the way things go the smoothest in life in every regard.
Can't wing it.
In every regard of your life, if you do a little bit of thought and planning, it's going to go smoother. Less chance for messing it up. Think about it, how that applies to anything in life, right?
True.
So if you think about your weekend and try to think, okay, what's on the agenda this weekend? Okay, Billy Joe's got soccer practice and I've got to go between 2 fields, and then I'm not going to have time to go home, and then I go straight to blah, blah, blah. You kind of like plot out your day and think, okay, well, you know what? Like for us, if we're like on the go, I'm like, you know what, babe? Let's make some PB&Js.
Yes.
Let's make what do I always say?
That's one of my favorites.
Let's make PB&Js, get some Quest chips, and let's pack them because
Bear
they're
bells.
real easy.
Yep.
You don't. So I kind of like for that on the go time or whatever. So I decide what we're going to do ahead of time so we can get in front of it. Then if I'm going to go out to eat somewhere, I try to look up the restaurant ahead of time to kind of plot out what I'm going to eat. So that like I can, because you don't want to make game time decisions when it comes to your food.
Yeah, so you already have it implanted in your head.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to order, and you stick by the order. Instead of seeing 20 different items and your brain's going crazy, your stomach's going crazy, and you're like,
when you're already hungry.
I don't want to give in to the temptation, but it's pulling me to this order.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because don't make food decisions when you're hungry. I'm sorry.
That's the worst.
Bad news bears. Okay, bad news bears. You want to do it. And also I had a conversation with one of my clients this week about this. I said, I know it sounds crazy, and I'm not like a brain scientist or anything, but what helps is if you are programming your brain and telling your brain what you're going to eat, then that's what your brain will expect you to eat.
Yes.
So I like to call it creating a crave. So if you're like, okay, on Saturday, I'm going to eat XYZ at this restaurant. You're deciding ahead of time. You are deciding when you're not hungry, when you're clear-headed, when it's kind of like, well, it's not too bad. It's going to fit within, you're not rigidly tracking. You're just kind of like being mindful. It's going to fit within that. So when you go to that restaurant, you open up the menu, your brain's already like, hey, Susie Q, this is what you said we're eating. Like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Your brain, you're actually going to even crave that. Have you ever went to a restaurant that you were planning to go to because it had your favorite thing and like you have it in your head all week? Yes, yes, yes. You get to the restaurant and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of that.
Oh.
And suddenly you can't connect with anything else on the menu.
It happened to us. We try to get some food.
McDonald's.
Our former cheat days or cheat meals, yeah, we tried to get McDonald's.
It was closed.
Closed. We settled for Taco Bell, but it wasn't like, even though it was good, it wasn't as enjoyable because our brain was set on burger and fries and nuggets.
That works, you guys.
It's super crazy. Yeah,
it
so true.
works. So if you think about that in your life and think about your weekends that way, plan in your head, kind of plant the seed. There's a reason there's a term that says plant the seed.
Yeah.
You're planting a seed in your brain for what the plan is. If you enter the weekend with no seeds planted, the chances of success are very, very
You
little.
and your mind got to work together.
Yeah.
You guys got to be best friends. Don't fight each other.
Yeah.
Got to be best friends. Like, hey, this is what we're doing today, okay? This is what we're okay, we agree on this? Yes, this is what we're doing. We're staying locked in on this.
Yeah.
We're not going to, deviate from the plan.
I also recommend emergency packs. I've talked about them a while back, but always have like in your bags, jerky, protein bars,
Yes.
a little pack of nuts, like a single serve thing of nut butter or something. Just have your little snack pack, like your emergency pack, so that you never say like, I have nothing. You always have something.
Because people always use that as an excuse. I have no time. I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to do this. Listen, we're in 2025. There's everything out there. You can't tell me that you can't find jerky, like you said. Chomps out there. You can't. There's Quest tortilla chips. There's Catalina snacks now with protein in it.
There's plenty.
There's Barabells.
It's a choice.
There's Fairlife milks to go. You keep those
Here's
cold.
the problem. The problem is if you think, oh, well, okay, I'll go to a convenience store. They'll have that stuff. But you're breaking the rule I just set for you guys.
Yes.
You are not programming your brain with what you're going to have. You're trying to make a game time decision when you're already hungry. You're swimming against the current. You cannot do that. You have to know, because otherwise you are going to be in a big fight with the demon side that's going to overtake you.
Yes.
In that circumstance.
You just showed the demon tons of options, and the demon's like, no, we're going to get that, that, and that. That's what happens.
Like, we don't want no freaking chomps. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I want a Laffy Taffy and Rolos.
I want my Doritos.
That's what you would
All
get.
my ho-hos.
So another thing that I recommend is having an anchor meal whenever possible. So an anchor meal is to start your day with a high protein, high fiber, healthy fats meal, so that you're starting the day off consider that an anchor meal. It's going to make it less likely for you to make those poor choices later. If you start your weekend with donuts, and we're guilty, so I'm not judging, it is what happens to us on the weekends we start with donuts.
Oh, man. We
It's been a long time.
It's like drug addicts. You want more. Good. You eat one, you're ready to crush another one, because you spike the hell out of your insulin. You get a sugar rush. In your body, and you want more. You'll eat till you're sick. That's one thing. Donuts you can eat till you're sick.
Yeah. So it's not a good idea. Another thing I want to say is, aim for good enough. You don't have to be super rigid. You don't have to be like perfect tracking macros.
True.
It could be good enough sometimes if it's on point most of the time.
Yes.
Okay. If you're in the act of weight loss, if you're in maintenance, good enough is good enough.
70-30?
I'm a good enough person right now.
Yeah.
I'm good enough.
I'm kind of right there.
I'm good enough because I'm in maintenance.
Yeah.
So I'm good enough, and it's really fun, to be honest.
So if you break down the equations, let's just say the percentages, 70-30 is good enough?
But what does that mean?
70% good, 30% kind of bad, kind of lean loose?
Not for weight loss. You need to be 80-20.
I was going to say that, 80-20 next. So 90-10 is really...
90-10 is you want to actually lose the amount of weight that your macros are set to have you lose. Because sometimes I'd say it's eye-opening to my clients when I'll tell them oh, you did good. You did good this week. Your macros, but even when you do good, you realize that's 80-20. When you do have a good week, that's an 80-20. Because if you had a perfect week, you'd have lost 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Because I know what your macros are set at. You know what I mean? I know what your macros are set. I see your activity. And it's kind of mind-blowing to them. Really? But I thought I was 100% on track. I'm like, no, because I know what you would lose if you're 100% on track. So there's some estimates in here. There's some overestimates. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, well, let's go through your tracker. And I'll scroll right through it right on the call. See this?
Yeah.
What do you think? How did you measure that? How do you know that was that? Oh, you're right. And I was like, and didn't you just mention to me that you had this? I don't see it on your tracker. Where's that? Oh, shoot, I didn't track it.
Yeah.
Someone said something about like their Starbucks drink or something. I'm like, I don't see that on your tracker. I'm like, so if you actually...
That's so true.
You know what I'm
See?
saying? Yeah, so...
And listen, this is for people who are tracking. Imagine the people who are winging it every day that think they're doing what they're supposed to lose weight. That's why they have zero success. And that's the truth. You might get lucky a little bit in winging it, but not for long you won't.
I think my biggest tip that helps us on the weekends is kind of all these things together with this last thing. Make fit food fun.
Yes.
Fit food fun. FFF, triple
I like
F. Make fit food fun.
I like that.
And we add that into the other tip by create the crave for the fun, fit food. So on Tuesday, think, ooh, what's going to be our fun food for Saturday? And you create the crave.
Yeah.
And
true.
think about what that's going to be. Like for us, oh shoot, we have to think about on the reel.
Yeah.
We have to think about what that's going to be Saturday because we finally ran out of our teeny tiny pies, right?
Yeah.
So we have to do that. So we have to think, okay,
What's the backup?
What's our fun fit food going to be for Saturday? We think about it ahead of time. We talk about it. We create the crave. And then we make a food that maybe it's a little indulgent, a little over on our calories, but still has protein and still it's not going to derail us.
Yeah.
I kind of like to use the rule of thumb too, where it's like one indulgence a weekend, like one splurge, one indulgence. We need boundaries in life. Humans need boundaries, or we will take the rope and run with it.
Even your body will cut you off at a certain point where you've overeaten. You feel like sick to your stomach. It's saving you from yourself. You know
is.
that?
It really is.
We both done that. You've done it. I've done it. We're both like, oh.
Or like my brain wants more, but my stomach's like, if you do, I'm going to vomit everywhere.
Yes. This is going to burst. You know
On
what
that delicious note, let's take a little break from MegaFit Meals. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, you know I'm all about making life easier while staying on track with your health and fitness goals. And that's why I love MegaFit Meals. MegaFit Meals is your go-to for macro-friendly meal prep that tastes amazing. Whether you're crushing your fitness goals or you just want a convenient way to eat clean and delicious meals, MegaFit has you covered. They've got everything from high-protein favorites to keto-friendly options and everything in between. Plus, the meals come perfectly portioned, ready to heat and eat, saving you time and stress. And the best part, you can save on your orders by using my code, JEANINE at checkout. Head over to megafitmeals.com and check it out. Don't forget to use my code, JEANINE, because when life gets busy, MegaFit Meals keeps you on track. We are back, and MegaFit Meals is definitely something that doesn't want to make me vomit. I love MegaFit Meals, actually. So good.
Listen, we've both done all those meal preps back in the day when you're competing, and I've done them with you. We order them. It was ASS. Sorry, horrible. Today, I eat them. I had chicken quesadilla, buffalo chicken quesadilla yesterday. Delicious. Bison sliders, delicious. Everything.
And
I enjoy
they're good.
them.
They're good portions too. Large portions.
And how many times did we waste money and didn't even eat all the foods that we ordered?
Oh, many times.
Many times. We wasted so much money. They all get eaten.
Yeah.
There's hardly any leftovers.
I know. All right, you guys, let's switch gears and talk about, because this relates to weekends a lot, because typically weekends are when there's the social events, right?
Always. Birthday parties, fiestas.
Let's talk about our mindset around social events. First of all, if you go into a weekend with this mindset of, I'm just going to enjoy myself this weekend, I'll get back on track Monday, do not do that. Because if you give yourself license to enjoy yourself all weekend, you are going to consume 3 times the amount of calories than if you give yourself a little leeway, but not a free-for-all. So instead of, I'm just going to enjoy myself this weekend, I'll get back on track Monday, think, I'm going to be mindful, but I'm going to have a splurge. I'm going to pick something that's important to me, but remain mindful. I'm not going to be rigid this weekend. I'm not going to really track. I'm going to eyeball it, but I'm going to be mindful.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between those two mindsets. Probably about a 3,000 calorie difference, a pound of body fat difference in one weekend.
Easy.
And I'm not even kidding. It's bad. I've done both.
We've done some damage. You have proof. When you hopped on a scale come Monday, you were like, oh, this is scary.
It's so bad. You know what? And you have to, I think the ultimate goal is to find that sweet spot, that balance where you can be the person or the woman who can enjoy yourself a little bit without completely throwing in the towel. And you know what's the coolest thing about that? You'll enjoy the food more. A little bit of like a rich cheesecake tastes so much better than if you went gluttony status with the cheesecake, because it'll taste good in the beginning, but you'll feel disgusted at the end. You'll be like, oh, I'm so sick. It's so sweet.
So rich, yeah.
You won't even enjoy it anymore. But if you stop while it was like the first few bites, you have this thing like, that's the best thing I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Right? It's a different mindset. You end still in love with the cheesecake instead of, oh my God, I don't want to see cheesecake for a year, like disgusted.
And this is where relationship problems happen with food, because you don't have a good balance. You're overdoing it. You're over consuming them.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what happens.
Yeah,
and then you're mad at the cheesecake. Like it's the cheesecake's fault. Like it grabbed your hand and made you grab the fork and said, oh, we're going to kill this whole thing. No, this is on you. You have to have control.
Yeah, and you have to have knowledge. And if you've listened to some of our previous episodes, we talk about the knowledge. We talk about how to control your appetite and cravings and how certain things are a little more difficult. So if you have that knowledge, then you know, like, no, this is a recipe for disaster if I eat this just by itself right now.
Yeah.
Ideally you've had other things that you're eating with it. You've had protein. You have a little bit of dessert that you share with somebody.
Yeah.
You don't go to town on an entire piece of cheesecake. So I think my number one tip to survive the weekend is to have a plan of action.
Sure. Exactly. Plan of action.
Have some sort of plan
ahead.
And it doesn't mean you being rigid. I'm not talking about pulling out your Tupperware at your dinner out. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making good choices and switching your mindset of, oh, just because I have social events means that I get to treat myself to some indulgent, crazy meal at every event. No.
Nope.
And at the end of the day, the worst case, because sometimes people will still fight me on it a little bit. They'll be like, I swear, there was nothing good that I could have ordered. It was like a very indulgent, like Italian restaurant, whatever. I'm like, there's always a choice. In that case, the choice is you don't have to eat it all. You can eat some of something. It doesn't mean you have to eat all of it.
That's so true.
Yes, it's difficult. You get it in, it's delicious, it's in front of your plate. Get in front of it. Gets in front of your face, right? Get in front of it. Say, you know what? Package half of it to go for me, for my leftovers.
That's why, man, we always hear this, and I get on my guys, like, all you guys always say how bad you really want it. But when it comes down to how bad you really want it, well, again, how bad you really want it. Do you want the results, or you want to give me 100 excuses why you can't get the results? If there's a problem, we find a solution. There's always a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And people they get stuck on the problem and stay there.
Yeah.
Stay right there in the little box. Like, there's a solution. There's ways around that.
Yeah.
You can also eat something at home before you go out to eat at this restaurant. So you're not going there starving and you can't help yourself. Then the demon wins.
I think it's a mindset. Again, are you a person with problems or are you a person with solutions?
That's it.
Because if I in my mind, just in general, encounter a problem, my immediate knee-jerk reaction is, how do I solve this? That needs to be what you're doing with your nutrition as well. So if you're like, oh, weekends are a problem, and then you just leave it at that, and you're just unsuccessful every single weekend.
They're not a problem.
They're a problem because you haven't stopped and put any effort into solutions. Because I don't know about you, but there in this day and age, restaurants, fast food, convenience stores, Target, grocery stores, if you want solutions, they're filled with solutions.
Every single one of them.
It's your choices that are the problem. You can go to an event. You don't have to call attention. It doesn't even you can eat like a normal person, but you don't have to overindulge. Take it to the next level. You don't need 2 baskets of bread. You don't need 2 cocktails. You don't need to order the fettuccine Alfredo and then the cheesecake dessert because your all or nothing mindset kick in. You're, oh, well, I'm at Cheesecake Factory. I blew it already. I'm just going to go for it. No, that's what it's a choice. At the end of the day, it's a choice. I don't care if you have multiple events, if you're traveling, if your kids have sports, if it doesn't matter. You're still in control of your choices.
It's because people tell themselves that. They give themselves an out. Those are all outs when they have to bring up their kids' events or this event or that, but this, I got this. And those are outs. That's what you're telling me. You want outs. Because let me tell you, champions and winners and people who really want, they always find a solution to a problem. They don't stay stuck there.
Yeah. So think about your weekends as a problem, if they're a problem for you, and actively decide if you want a solution.
Yep.
If you do, we've given you a lot of solutions right here. Plan ahead, be prepared, create the crave, fun fit foods. We've given you tons of solutions. We've given you solutions that work for our clients, that work for us. You know, and the other thing is, if you do happen to lose it for a meal or you lose it for a day, reset as quickly as possible. Don't give yourself a time in the future to reset.
No.
Oh, I'll reset Monday.
No.
I'll do better tomorrow. And then you go for broke for the rest of the day.
Yeah, no.
You can't do that. All right, you guys, let's take another break for Transcend and 1UP Nutrition, and we'll be right back. Hey, everyone. I wanted to take a minute to talk about something that has truly been a game changer for Mike and I, HRT and peptides from Transcend. If you've been following our journey, you know that we're all about thriving, not just surviving, especially at 49 and 50 years old. Thanks to Transcend, we're looking and feeling our absolute best. Their personalized approach to hormone optimization and peptides has helped us boost energy, improve recovery, and stay on top of our game. And here's the best part. You can experience the same transformation. Transcend offers customized treatments designed just for you. Whether it's hormone balance, better sleep, or more energy, they've got you covered. Are you ready to get started? Use our exclusive link, transcendcompany.com/ESCO Elite. Book your consultation and take advantage of a 15% new patient discount. Don't wait. Your best years are still ahead, and transcendcompany.com can help you. Head to transcendcompany.com/ESCO Elite today and take the first step toward looking and feeling your best. Trust me, you won't regret it. Okay, guys, so I have to tell you about my favorite supplement brand. If you're not new here, you know it's 1UP Nutrition. This is probably the only time in my entire life that I've been this consistent with my supplements. And let me tell you, it's been a game changer. Their Gut Health Plus and Daily Cleanse have completely transformed my digestive health. I feel amazing and I'm never bloated. And don't even get me started on their protein powders, from the refreshing lemon Italian ice clear protein that I add to my yogurt pretty much daily these days, and their peanut butter cookie iso protein powder. I mean, their flavors are absolutely delicious. It's like having a treat while staying on track with your goals. If you're ready to level up your nutrition and try supplements that actually work and taste amazing, you're going to love 1UP Nutrition as much as I do. Just head over to oneupnutrition.com, use code Janine at checkout for a discount, and try some of my favorites and start feeling your best today, because your health deserves the best, and so do you. Another thing I want you guys to think about is sometimes, like, if you're always paying for the sins of the previous weekend, your results at the end of the week are never going to reflect your real efforts. And it feels like you're working really hard, but you're not getting results because Monday through Friday, you worked really hard. You got real rigid and pulled it all the way back. But what you don't realize is if you had a crazy weekend, it's going to take you all those days, those 5 days, to even put a dent in the previous weekend.
Just to even break even.
And you're lucky if you break even.
Yeah,
if anything, if you are slowly gaining weight, but you feel like you're always dieting, you're probably a weekend warrior. You probably diet real hard during the week, but lose control on the weekend, and slowly but surely weight is creeping up. And you think your metabolism is broken. You think your body's broken. You think your program's wrong. You think your macros are wrong. No, your consistency is the problem.
That's so true. And it all goes back to consistency. That's where everybody falters right there. Inconsistency means zero results. That's what happens. People are just not inconsistent. We see it. We know, oh, you didn't track today? Why didn't you track today? Probably because you went off the rails and you didn't want to face the music. We know the gimmicks, or they partially tracked. What happened to the rest of the day? Oh, you broke and you went all for broke. Not, I forgot. No, come on. We know.
You know, it all boils down to, and people have a hard time really looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking like, yeah, I'm not holding it together enough on the weekends.
They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to hold themselves. They want to look, they want to find excuses as to where they're not at. And their outcome does not meet the expectations because you're not doing the work correctly. Yeah. You're messing up.
But you know what the truth is? This is the crazy truth. If you follow our tips and loosen up a little bit during the week and kind of just don't have those hills and those peaks and valleys. No peaks and valleys, like cruise, kind of keep it around the same. You will feel like you're working less, but you will get better results.
Yep.
And that is the truth. The problem is it's a little hard sometimes if you've been in this pattern and chances are a lot of people are in this pattern for years and years. The peaks and valleys, they're super rigid and then they let loose on the weekends. It's very hard to get off that train. So it's going to take some work. It's going to be difficult like the first couple weeks. But once you get past that, you're going to be like, oh my gosh.
Why didn't I do it sooner?
This is so much easier.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're working as hard, but the results are happening.
Yeah.
You don't see crazy fluctuations in your weight also. So you're not always trying to predict, oh, is this water retention because I went crazy yesterday and I had pizza and donuts because it was my cheat day? Or is this real body fat? You don't know for like 5 days. It takes for the inflammation to go down for a high calorie meal.
Yeah.
So you don't really know. But that's what I recommend. I recommend that you guys focus on better choices, not perfect choices. You're not failing if you have one treat. You're succeeding when you make it fit and move on. That's what we do all the time. Make fit food fun. Plan, create a crave, and look for solutions to your problems instead of accepting problems.
Also, I always say this too, is I asked a few of my clients, can we just go 1 week without eating out? Can you just do that one time just to see? Just do that one time. Just one time.
Because I think it helps. Because if you see how cooperative the scale is when you actually don't go out to eat for an entire week,
yes,
you might be a little less likely to go out to eat as often after you see that. Like, whoa, really spinning your wheels.
Save money and then that needle moves. You're like, whoa.
Yep. All right, you guys, on the next episode, we're going to get further into this topic. We're going to talk about breaking the all or nothing mindset. It's the number one block that is holding you back, especially in midlife. It's going to be good.